We're doing a 2-day class called the Clinician Awareness Program, where we basically take these mental health providers in the area and we immerse them into the fire service. So they get firefighter lingo, tradition, pride, ownership, and then we have a hands-on portion where they'll actually be doing extrication scenarios, a search and rescue scenario, things that firefighters do day in and day out.
Go right hand, sir.
Having these clinicians be culturally aware of how firefighters operate helps us when we're in crisis to establish a feeling of how each other operates. That way we don't have to spend time in our visits explaining what our schedule is. When the firefighter starts talking about their calls that they run, the clinician doesn't have to stop and say, okay, well, what do you mean by a hearse tool? You know, it's a generic term for jaws of life, but when we call it a hearse tool, they might not understand what that means. So this helps them understand what we do day in and day out.
You know, the best thing that ever happened to me was when somebody referred to me as part of the firefighter family, you know? Okay, that's when you know that it's arrived.
In our line of work, there are a lot of things that we see, you know, a lot of traumatic events, and sometimes that leaves us unsure with who to speak to. And also, aside from that, there's a stigma in the fire service where we're always too tough for our own good. So if something's bothering us, usually we just think everyone else is feeling the same way. So the general rule is just keep your mouth shut and keep going, which now thanks to a change in firefighter culture, mental health is one of the top subjects now that we're talking about.
8 minutes straight.
Having the clinicians here is going to be a huge opportunity for them, a huge opportunity for firefighters, and I think it's a huge win for mental health in the fire service.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's got some power to it.
We decided that it would be prudent for us to get more immersed in the first responder lifestyle. So just getting a more wraparound understanding of what they experience, how their shifts are, and really looking forward to the training of day 2, just to get our hands-on experience of it. My passion is to really grow into the first responder community and help with being able to have the strong stomach to handle the first responders, to handle the stories. The biggest aspect that I give to my first responder clients is what do they do to decompress themselves? So when they get off shift, what do they do to turn off that, you know, law enforcement Steve to Steve who's a dad, Steve who's a husband. So just really putting in, you are two different people, and how do you disengage that? Because it's not easy to turn off.
This is probably one of the greatest experiences ever. No one understands what these firefighters and paramedics and EMTs have to go through. All kudos to them. My appreciation for them has grown immensely, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and I'll do it again.
All right, folks there, use the right hand.